Hey everyone, Sakurayasin here, and welcome to another episode of Pointy Chins, where I take you through my art journey. Alright, so here, still playing around with caricaturing figures. I wanted to see if I could caricature like more of a baby, but didn't really work out. Yeah, so, sharp nose, pretty basic, sticking to shapes. This was a cat we rescued called Toma, and it was outside of a restaurant, and someone had abandoned it, and we saved it, and it was very ill, and then we got it healthy and found an owner for it. So that was, in the end, a good story, or a happy ending at least. More drawings, thinking about simplifying forms. I noticed this quite a lot where, this is an exaggeration and you shouldn't really do this considering realistic drawing, but when you have hair and it's long, it tends to make the silhouette very flattened around the top. And that's something that I noticed with a lot. And even with not so long hair, it's pretty simple silhouettes, even in complicated hairstyles. So that was interesting. But normally, you have to raise the head above the scalp if this was more realistic. And then playing around with different, just pushing and creatures, this kind of alien thing. And this thing is also one eye, and I don't know. It's almost abstract, I guess. But I've been trying to not fight my weird drawings too much, to let them happen. So here, more weird stuff. I like this one, and I like this one. Compared to this one, like they feel like they have some kind of relationship with each other. Maybe because this one's chin comes way out, and this one has like no chin and no jaw, pretty much. But yeah, pretty weird, I guess. Continuing with that, it's probably the most I've given this weirder part of my drawings in a while, where I don't really think and I just draw. And I think by doing that, it somehow helped in all the rest of my drawings. I guess it solidified the bridge between my more creative, intuitive side and my more analytical side. So it's good, I would recommend, to do things that just come naturally to you, even if you don't see them as being very useful. They can be. Here's some more cricket type stuff, gestures, kind of like this one quite a bit. I think it got a good flow to it. Some of the rest are pretty forced, but I try and pay special attention. Like I'm simplifying the torso to this basic, almost rectangular shape, and I'm thinking more about the head in relation to the torso. Like what happens, where does the head go when the torso is doing this with the neck and all that? Don't know if that makes sense. Here, again, just letting things happen. So it's really all over the place. I think this was probably one of the biggest transition months in terms of things solidifying. And before they become stable, it seems a lot of times in processes that you get the most instability just before things click into place, and it's like, okay, now it's starting to work. So screwing around with foreshortening, that one's stupid, didn't work out. Some bird thing, and kind of like this alien creature. Okay. These two aren't related, but it looks like they are. That's kind of funny. Kind of like the pants on this one. Again, I don't really draw clothing too much, but I should. And then this character, he seems to have a lot of personality to him, so I like that. more faces, playing around with proportions, not really using any reference, but choosing to try and build stuff just as much as I can, trying to squeeze out all the brain creative juices from my sponge brain. And I don't know, these are all pretty derpy. I don't know what's going on. I don't even, with this one. What? I guess, like, these are the eyes, this is the nose, this is the mouth, but it's pretty messed up. I guess this is more, it's weird that this now looks normal in comparison, even though it's pretty pushed. Not really happy with any of these. I think I've got a better relationship with the neck, though. I realize I have to make the neck really skinny for it to look right, which is, something. And I mean, I've done skinny necks in the past, but it's becoming more of a, I see how this goes now. The torsos are getting longer. It's just getting more stretched, and the figures are getting taller, whereas before they were pretty stout. And I kind of liked that. I liked the shorter figures as well, but it seems like it's more natural for me to make them taller. So again, just letting things happen, not fighting it, not trying to make up reasons why it should or shouldn't be that way, because I spent a lot of time doing that, where I would draw because it's like, well, I don't really like drawing super tall figures, so let me try and make them shorter. Or at least it's not I don't like drawing, it's more like I don't like those proportions so much, so I'm gonna try not to have them. But it seems like it's, I don't know, it works easier if I just let that happen. So more figures, kind of like some of the faces, like this one, it's okay. This one I was trying to get the planes again more, trying to understand the planes, not really a success, but it's a thing, trying out a different proportion, larger, big boobs, and this one's got a big gut, and I'm not sure about these ones. And let's see. So here, it's pretty normal, I guess. It's not that unusual. With this one, though, I thought he was kind of funny. I made the mustache just like one scribbly line, like, and then just filled in occlusion shadows with these little kind of upside down triangular shapes, and then it kind of looks cool, I feel. This one's inspired by a character on Naruto called Kaguya or something. I don't know. It was a while back. And then here it's just getting ridiculous. Not this one. Sure, that's pretty ridiculous in itself, but like these are getting sillier, and then this one, I just took the eye, and instead of making it sideways, I flipped it so it's going upwise, and I don't know. And then for these, I was playing around with stretching the face more, because it's like, you got your body stretched, so maybe it makes more sense for the faces to also get stretched accordingly. And it seemed to work. It's like, that makes sense. Sometimes things get stretched horizontally, sometimes things get stretched vertically. And I think this is where it sort of is getting quite far from a typical anime style. Sorry about the noise in the background. I live in a new town now, and there's a lot of snow right now, and a lot of snow plows, which are just like snowmobiles and ATVs that have been retrofitted to be like snow plows, and they're driving around. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of like this one, this K being super pushed. It's something where I'm both drawn to it and afraid of it in a way. I'm trying not to be afraid of it because it feels like when I push things too far, I don't have much control. I don't feel like I can replicate them. They feel like they look good in one drawing, but not necessarily in more than that. And then here, I was looking for houses to live in at one point, looking at houses, and we passed through a town called Grand Forks in British Columbia, and there were just deer walking around the streets, and I thought that was really weird and interesting. And now in the town that I live, there's deer as well. Sometimes at nighttime you'll see a whole pack of deer. I was when we first came the first night, we were moving stuff into the house, so we had the door open, and then there were like 5 or 6 deer, and then they were just staring at us, and they were near the door but kind of far. And then as we moved stuff into the house, and then I went back to the car to get more stuff and then move it, and then the deer were closer and then moved in. Then when we went away again and then came back, they were even closer, and I think they were trying to get in the house, and they were really close, and they're very big when you see them up close. Anyway, here's a woman pushing a shopping cart with a baby, like, onward, go, whatever. And here I'm playing around with necks and just making this into one shape. So from the back of the head all the way down the arm as one shape, and then another big shape. So simplifying the figure, not looking for areas where I can combine shapes instead of thinking of it as one thing against another. Instead, thinking of it as one big shape. So same with this, back of the head goes straight into the back, which then gets like this shape, and then this shape, and this shape. And I think it's cool. It's a cool thing to do. It's nice, but again, I feel like I have to know a lot to do this, and I don't feel quite as much in control. I suppose if I was doing things digitally with drawings, you could just keep editing your characters to achieve those. So for instance, with this character, like right here, there's kind of a rhythm here, right? But it's not perfect. See, it goes like brr, brr, brr. It's a bit awkward. And if I was doing this digitally and redoing it, or just drawing over and over, I could just simplify that into like one S, maybe down here, and then a straight line. I don't know. But just finding ways to take the shapes and resolving them to more simplified forms. I don't even know if that's how you do it. It just seems like, yeah, I guess that would work. So moving on, more stuff. Kind of like this one. It's kind of elegant with minimal lines. There's a lot of days where I'm not drawing as much because at this period I was, as I said, looking at houses, and I was going all over the province. So I was spending a lot of time in cars and or in a car, driving around and, trying to find houses that are affordable, because Vancouver very much is not. And yeah, continuing, stretched out figures. Thinking about a basic proportion. So it's almost a stick figure, but I think even like stick figures are very underrated. And I like this one's expression because, it seems like when you do different things with the eyes, it makes a lot of difference, and opening the mouth even a bit seems to add a lot. Sometimes just the little things with the, open and closed eyes, or open and closed mouths, or even the nose and stuff like that. But anyway, I think with stick figures, it's something that if you think of them as just stick figures, it's one thing, and maybe it doesn't seem that interesting or important. But if you think of it more like just a character zoomed way out, so or you're looking at someone from really, really far, and then they just look like a silhouette, but they're kind of going to resemble a stick figure, at least a little bit. And then to take that and use that as what you're drawing for stick figures, like it's just someone really, really far away, so you don't get any details, but you can see the overall shapes. Then I think it makes you consider them more carefully. instead of just like, oh yeah, it's a stick figure, meaning it's just a nothing, because it's not nothing, it's still something. Yeah, this one, again, it's another one of those cases where I could have, simplified this into one clean shape if I was redoing it. Yeah. And here, I guess not much, just, again, cricket type drawings. Getting a bit bigger than stick figures now, so you get a bit more detail. And then a flying alien guy here. And some more weirdness. A lot of what I'm trying to do is think about shapes and proportions, like how, when you have a really muscular guy, how big are the pecs, and then how thin does the waist go. I think this one pretty thin, but I think later on I go even more dramatic. Here I'm adding a mustache on a guy. It adds a lot of character. Even that's something I'm also realizing, is just how much facial hair can play a part in things. I guess I never thought of that enough. I did it sometimes, a guy with a mustache or a beard, but I see it really can add a lot of personality or character, just having these, features, marks. Yeah, so anyway, trying to do some basic compositions, and this one is kind of inspired by this film I saw called Bajirao Mastani. It's a pretty visually stunning movie, if you want to see something with interesting visuals. Story and acting and all that, yeah, maybe not, but visuals, yeah, pretty good. And yeah, thinking about just basic shapes, even just physics, and I mentioned this in the last Pointy Chins, but how physics is really important, I feel, and getting things to feel like they have movement to them and life and energy. So in the next episode, I'm going to be continuing on, go a bit crazy with crickets. You'll see what I mean if you stay tuned for that. So hope this helped, and thanks for watching.